Hey, what's up? This is Scooby here, the Dream Coach, with another Expresso video. Okay, and this video is about how happiness is not a choice. Um, Now, it's a really popular idea in self-development to think of happiness as a choice. Happiness has to be maintained. Happiness is a muscle type of thing. But that is actually a misunderstanding about where happiness what where happiness comes from and the nature of our experience. Now, if happiness was a muscle, if happiness was a choice, and you had to work to choose to be happy, then, like a muscle that you have to build up, you have to maintain it also. And the second that you stop doing the work to maintain it, it starts to atrophy, I think is the word, reverses. So you lose it when you stop working. Okay. Now, for a muscle, it's different when you're doing that to your muscle, because we don't necessarily associate our muscles with their well-being. But if that's true of our happiness, something so important as our happiness, our well-being has to be maintained, then that really sucks, because you can never rest from the work of doing it. And it sucks because that's so important to who you are, being happy. So, but luckily it's not true. Happiness is not something that you can choose or that you can develop. It's something that you are as your natural state, in your consciousness. And I have other videos where I talk about the three principles of mind, consciousness, and thought, and how we live in the experience of our thinking. Okay. And so that means basically the only thing that's stopping you from experiencing happiness is your thinking, your thoughts. And the only thing you can do to be happy is to let go of thoughts and feelings. So it's like, well, an example would be like you would be experiencing something in your life, and you'd be like, well, this needs to be different, this person needs to be different, or this, that, I need to get this, or I need to be there, and then I'll be happy. Because that's sort of how our language works. Our language is very caught up in cause and effect, thinking and experiencing. In other words, like, this has to happen and then this will happen, or I have to suffer, and then once I've paid my dues, then I can be happy. But while our language may work that way, we may speak that way, and that influences our thinking, it's not how it works. Your natural state is happiness and well-being when your thinking is not getting in the way of that truth. So if you're, thinking about, well, I needed this to be happy, if you realize that experience, those thoughts and feelings of thinking that about people, about yourself, about where you are or what you have, if you realize that is all in your thinking, in your thoughts, that those feelings, what you're feeling is all in your thoughts, and that there's new thinking and new thoughts around the corner that are much cleaner, that feel a lot better, then all you've got to do is realize that, okay, and let go of those feelings. And you don't have to. Letting go is not doing anything. It's seeing. It's a seeing, and you don't have to do anything to see something, except for just sort of. It's like, if you're looking for your like you lost your car keys, and you're like in a hurry, you gotta be somewhere, and you're looking so hard for your keys, you're straining your eyes so much and stressing so much, you don't actually have very much space to take in what you see before you. You can't really look very good, and so the keys could be right under your nose and you won't see them. But we've all experienced this, that the second that you allow yourself to forget about it, the second you give up on finding it, when you give up on finding it, then you're like, it just happens to be right there. It's crazy, and that's a lot like thought. When you give up on trying to figure it out, that's when you then experience that the space in your mind is opened up for new experience, and all of a sudden you feel happy, and that's because that's your natural state. You've allowed the space for new thinking to flood in through consciousness, and now you feel good, but it's not because of anything on the outside. It's because you gave up with your thinking.